Mosley, Kuma, Goodwin, Gordon, Digby, and Armistead. And they'll step in to face the Mississippi State senior right-hander from Noxubee County, Mississippi, or from Neshoba County, Mississippi, rather, Aspen Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley's really stepped into this ace role this season when her whole career, she only had 2 SEC conference wins as a pitcher. This year, she is the clear ace and has really stepped up for her team and has been quite dominant for Mississippi State.
Has 12 wins already this year in the circle. That's going to be off the glove and reaching first base safely, as she has oftentimes this year, is Dallas Goodnight for Georgia.
And that's one thing that's been an Achilles heel of Mississippi State as of late is their defense is just made uncharacteristic errors. I know Aspen Wesley, you get an easy ground ball from the leadoff and just try to make that throw too soon.
So Wesley, who's done a good job playing her position defensively for much of the year, just could not get that one cleanly. Now Georgia plays the bunting game. Good bunt laid down. The only play for State is at first. They'll get the out there, but Georgia has a runner on now in scoring position.
Yeah, Georgia right here showing good execution and getting a runner in scoring position with the heart of their order coming up is a big deal for Georgia because coming out on top in your first at-bat really sets the tone early in this game.
So Chamblee laid down the sac bunt, and now it brings up Kearney. 3-hole hitter, the right-hander, big cut there and a swing and a miss, strike one.
Yeah, with all the power in Georgia's lineup, Aspen Wesley has got to change speeds very strategically. And when she does, she has to keep the ball on the corners, keep these hitters off balance, can't let them find their timing.
Misses outside, count evens up. Jada Kearney, a senior, .353 average on the season, as she makes her 51st start this year for Georgia. And there you see the chart for Wesley. She loves the rise ball and loves it in that top right quadrant, especially against right-handed hitters.
Yeah, what's so special about that is she's got a high velocity rise ball, 65 miles per hour. Then she has this off-speed rise, which I think is one of the most filthy pitches you can throw to a hitter. And she just tattoos that zone. And right there you see her regular changeup. So not only are you worrying about this off-speed rise coming in, she can also change speeds down in the zone, making good pitches right here to Jada Kearney.
2-2 the count on Kearney, who has driven in 45 runs this year for Georgia. Runner on at second, one out. That ball is bounced foul, left side. We'll do it again.
Now, this is a Georgia Bulldog team that started off the season on a tear. I mean, they were 13-1 in February, 16-4 in March. In April, they were 8-8. I mean, you were in the heart of SEC play, but they've taken some gut punches. You mentioned it in the open this Sunday against Florida. They had the game, but Florida came back late. They've been so close to having a completely different record, but just haven't been able to finalize a couple of these outings in April.
The 2-2. That's fouled off again. Good fight here between Wesley and Kearney. So Sunday afternoon for these two teams played out very differently. Georgia lost a lead late. Meanwhile, MSU had the big comeback late against Missouri. I'm interested to see how that parlays here in the game one on a Friday night. Got it. There's the first strikeout of the ball game for Aspen Wesley, her 107th of the season, and a big out number 2 there from Mississippi State.
And I love how she set up that pitch. She had been going inside with the rise ball, the off speed, the changeup, and then paints the outside corner with a curveball. Great sequencing of pitches and gets a huge strikeout.
And it brings up now the number 4 hitter in the order, Sarah Mosley, a cleanup hitting senior right-handed third baseman. And there you see her numbers on the year. Very impressive stuff. She has been a run producer and has done it mostly thanks to extra base hits.
Yeah, she has power. we might talk about power a lot tonight with Georgia, but deservingly so. I mean, Sarah Mosley last weekend, the 3 home runs against the top 10 Florida. Here she finds herself behind in the count 0-2.
Swing and a miss. Huge comeback there to get back-to-back strikeouts against 2 of Georgia's better hitters. Wesley gets State out of the jam. Nothing on the board.
Yeah, she's a freshman that was known for her defense, but as this team was struggling the past couple weeks, she's been a bright spot coming up in big situations and getting the bat on the ball and some RBIs for her team.
We'll talk more about Edwards as she comes up later on in the ball game. Right now, though, Sierra Sacco has been a stalwart for State at the top of the order. I mean, she has been leadoff batter since game 1 of the season and has done a fantastic job for head coach Samantha Ricketts.
She has an on-base percentage over 500, and that's what you want from your leadoff. She gets hits, but she also is very patient and can work a lot of walks in that leadoff spot with 40 on the season.
She's going up against the junior lefty Backus for Georgia. There you see her bio, Peachtree City, Georgia native. She's predominantly a drop ball pitcher.
And she works down in the zone. You saw the heat map. She's not going to overpower you with speed, but 73% of her pitches are either going to be a curveball or a changeup, with 32% being that changeup. And that's the swing and miss on her off speed, down in the zone, off the plate. She places it very nicely. So Mississippi State's going to have to pick a speed. You know you're going to get an off-speed pitch, and you know you're going to get a curveball in that bat, but you can't sit both of them. You can't just be in between. So you're going to look hard or you're going to look off-speed. Easier said than done because both of them have a lot of movement on them from Lily Backus.
Sacco, a junior from Marrero, Louisiana. Her first season in Starkville. Began her collegiate career playing at Louisiana Tech. And there you see the batting average at .354. Brittany's already mentioned the on-base percentage, over 500. 2-2 the count. Popped it up, did Sacco on the infield, calling for it. And Georgia will make the catch. That's a good start there for Backus against a tough out in Sacco.
It is, and she's not overpowering with speed, but if you're thinking about that changeup, and then she brings that backdoor curve in on your hands, and I think that's why Sacco was jammed up on that pitch. Nice, easy fly ball to the infield.
And now for MSU, the doubles machine, Nadia Barbary, steps in. 17 two-baggers on the season, including a huge one against Missouri in State's big come-from-behind win on Sunday in Columbia. That ball pulled foul, left side, strike 1.
Yeah, you mentioned the come-from-behind 7th inning go-ahead run from Mississippi State. They had been struggling for a couple weeks going into that series, drop game 1, drop game 2, and then to have that come-from-behind victory in the 7th inning, you know, it really has to give confidence and a little bit more excitement around this team, which they need coming into this series and going into postseason.
Barbary hits one up the middle. Nice backhanded scoop and throw by Kuma for out number 2. And Barbary is retired, and a nice start to the first inning here for Backus.
Yeah, both pitchers coming out first inning looking really good in the circle. Backus coming from the left side, getting in on the hands of a lefty in the leadoff, and just, again, getting in on the hands of the righty Barbary.
And now the leading home run hitter for Mississippi State, Madison Kennedy, will step up for the first time and takes ball 1 from Backus. The Montgomery, Alabama senior, one of 7 MSU seniors who are going through the senior weekend festivities beginning tonight. That will catch the outside corner, and the count evens up. Kennedy batting .336 now in the season. That's going to be downstairs, and a good take by Kennedy, and the count is in the hitter's favor, 2 balls and a strike.
Madison Kennedy's been having a career season. struggles a little bit as late as most of the hitters on this state lineup, but she has so much potential and so much power. It's just going to take one swing of the bat to get her going again.
Well, she was trying to break out of that slump right there with that cut against the rise ball underneath it, and the count evens up 2-2.
I really appreciate this at bat from Kennedy. When watching her last weekend, you could tell she was pressing, swinging early in counts, pitches that weren't really her pitches when she didn't have any strikes on her. Here, working a good count, fouling off some pitches, letting balls go by. Much better at bat.
Kennedy pops it up foul and out of play, so we'll do it again. Count remains even at 2-2. So 15 home runs for Kennedy, yes, but also 8 doubles. And she's driven in a team best 52 runs this season. Has put together an all SEC season.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Pulls that one foul. So Backus and Kennedy battling right here in the home half of the first. Georgia threatened in their first at-bat with a runner on at second with just one out, but then back-to-back Aspen Wesley strikeouts got State out of the jam. And here in the home half of the first, Backus has retired Sacco and Barbary, the first two she's faced in the lineup. High velocity pitch right there, missed off the inside corner, and now the count's full. The payoff pitch, swing and a miss, and again, Backus goes downstairs and gets a huge strikeout of Kennedy, and a 1-2-3 inning to begin the ball game. 4 o'clock was the scheduled start time, and then we had a thunderstorm move through the area. It dumped a bunch of rain on not just campus, but News Park specifically. Kudos to the grounds crew for getting this thing ready to go 3 hours later.
Exactly. I didn't think there was any chance of us getting this game in today, but they did a great job getting this field ready. But with that being said, the outfield's still going to be wet. There's not standing water, but that ball, anything into the grass is going to skip, and it's going to be fast. Outfielders have got to be able to adjust their angles to balls to knock them down and really make sure you get a good grip when you're trying to throw anything into the infield.
Sydney Kuma leads things off here on the top of the second for Georgia. It'll be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters for Georgia. Kuma, then Jaden Goodwin and Sarah Gordon to face Aspen Wesley. A 3-0 count to Kuma, who's taking all the way, and the count now 3-1. Kuma, a senior second baseman, 354 hitter on the year. Boy, there's about 7 bats in this Georgia lineup that have had really good seasons, and Kuma's one of them.
Yeah, head coach for Georgia, Tony Baldwin. I mean, what a luxury to write the lineup every day when you have those kind of numbers in production, 1 through 9, really, and then to having 7 players over 300. You just pick them out of a hat, I guess.
That's right. Just draw straws. Hard hit ball, but it's foul and out of play. So we'll do it again. Landed over there in the VIP section. They had the grill going out there a little while ago and didn't offer to bring us anything.
No, they didn't.
Hard hit ball the opposite way, and again foul. So Kuma trying to time it up as Wesley continues to change speeds and locations well here in the early innings.
Yeah, she fell behind early 3-0, has worked this back to a full count going in. Now that last pitch, a curveball. Wouldn't be surprised if she tried to change speeds here.
Pop up on the infield. Edwards calls for it, and she makes the grab for out number 1.
It was a nice fight by Aspen Wesley in the circle. She rarely falls behind and does a nice job against a very good hitter in Sydney Kuma to get a routine fly ball to her shortstop for the first out of the inning.
The freshman Edwards gets the put out. No one on, 1 gone for the lefty. Number 6 hitter in the lineup, the left fielder, Jaden Goodwin. Harris, Kentucky sophomore, one of the few underclassmen in the starting lineup for Georgia. Fouls that one off. Count evens up 1-1.
Yeah, this is a very veteran team, but how special as a sophomore is Goodwin to be able to be surrounded by these elite hitters in her lineup and learn from them. And so early in your career, you know, that's a lesson that's going to stick with her throughout her career and only make her better.
Right at the knees, taken for a strike, and the count's 1-2 on Goodwin, who has seen a lot of playing time this year, has played in almost every game this season, and now has started in about half the games. Boy, Wesley, good idea right there, coming off the inside corner, but it just missed. Now the count's 2-2.
Just missed is right. But that's a great 1-2 pitch. Right on the corner, make the umpire the hitter, and everybody think that it's a strike. But just off the plate, according to Ronald White behind the plate.
Ball in the dirt, count goes full. 30 hits on the year for Goodwin, including 8 doubles, 1 triple, and 3 home runs. Has done a good job getting on base, has done a really good job in the extra base hit category. Oh, the ball comes in and hits her. I mean, either way, it was going to give her a free trip to first, but I'm sure if she had to choose, she'd prefer not to get plunked, but she'll wear it and take her free walk down the base.
Yeah, I think you spoke that one into existence. But yeah, base runners. That one wasn't coming in too hot. Put your elbow out, no big deal.
That's right. That's why you wear the shield.
That's right.
So Georgia 1 on and 1 gone. And the catcher, Sarah Gordon, will step into the box for the first time tonight. A sophomore, just like Goodwin. Has not had the same success as Goodwin has offensively this year, but a really good defensive catcher.
And she's a transfer from Louisville. She was actually the ACC Freshman of the Year last year, so she has the ability to put up some big numbers. Just hasn't gotten a ton of opportunities throughout the season.
Swing and a miss right there. This is the 25th start of the season for Gordon, but only has just over 60 at-bats on the year.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find your rhythm, going from as a freshman to everyday starter, getting that rhythm and those consistent at-bats.
Hits that one hard and over the head of St. Clair in left. Stopping at third is Goodwin. That's a screaming double to the wall in left for Sarah Gordon, the first extra base hit of the ball game, and Georgia's in business in the top of the second.
Yeah, she got what she was looking for there, a ball in the inner half. You can see here she gets her barrel out in front. I think that ball just got a lot more plate than Wesley wanted, and Gordon is able to take advantage of it. Lines it over left fielder Briley St. Clair's head. Now runners at second and third with just 1 out.
That's the second double of the year for Gordon. Gordon, kind of an odd stat line, came into the ball game with 5 times as many home runs as doubles.
She's all or nothing.
That's right. And now Georgia will turn to the freshman. She was able to get out of a jam last inning, but is in an even tighter jam here in inning number 2. Off speed, and it catches the outside corner for a strike, and the count evens up on Digby. The freshman righty hitting .232 on the year. Fouls that one back for strike 2.
You know, if you're Mississippi State's defense, you have to know less than 2 outs, runners second and third, a ball on the ground in the infield. They're moving from third base to home. Corners are playing just a couple feet in front of the bag. Salen Hawkins at second base is right in the baseline. Edwards is a little bit behind. I'd like to see them pulled in a bit more, try to prevent that run.
Swing and a miss. Nice job there by Wesley. A huge out to get right there. State now an out away from getting out of the inning unscathed.
Big time. Now your defense can go back to where they're comfortable. And Aspen Wesley right here spinning the ball down in the zone. Great location. Falling behind a little bit this inning, but finding ways to get back and get strikeouts.
Number 9 hitter in the batting order, Armistead. A little check swing foul tip for strike 1 there on the first offering from Wesley. Ellie Armistead, the starting shortstop for the Georgia Bulldogs. Right-handed hitting senior. .322, really good 9-hole hitter. And she takes strike 2, so Wesley out in front quickly, 0-2 on Armistead.
Started this at bat off with something up in the zone, goes to the curveball on the outer half, way ahead. Needs to make sure this pitch is off the plate.
It is. Backhanded by Kennedy. She'll beat Armistead to the bag at first. And Wesley in the break. Really great weather for early May here in the Deep South.
69 degrees, a couple clouds, sun's going down. I mean, this is the kind of environment I know as a player that I loved. I love night games. The lights are coming on. Weather's perfect. We were a little bummed about the weather delay, but it's turned out to be, maybe a blessing in disguise.
I agree. MSU senior Paige Cook, a Georgia native, will step into the batter's box to lead things off from Mississippi State here in the home half of the second. Really nice breaking ball right there from Backus for strike 2.
And this is a tough place to be against Lily Backus, 0-2. She has that arsenal of change-ups and breaking pitches. Really have to go to a 2-strike approach.
That ball's wasted in the dirt. Cook followed by Wesolowski and then Edwards. The middle of the MSU order due up. State looking for its first base runner of the ball game. Georgia, meanwhile, has had 3 reach base, but they've stranded all 3. Good take right there by Cook, and the count's now 1-2. Correction, 2-2. Cook batting .298, just a hair under 300. Hits that one foul. We'll do it again.
We've seen it from both sides tonight. I know we're just in the bottom of the second inning, but some good at-bats. Just fouling off a lot of pitches, working counts back to even from both sides. The pitchers so far are holding their own, but you can tell that these hitters have a game plan against who they're going against.
Both sides trying to get a feel for each other here in the early going. Oh, that ball broke right over the outside corner. Started out, then came back in, and that's a huge strikeout there. It got Cook looking.
Yeah, that's her backdoor curve from a left-handed pitcher to a righty. This ball starts off the plate. You see that. You look at that break at the end. That's a ton of break. Paige Cook in the box sees that 6 inches out, and then that break just catches the corner at the very end. That's almost that's a hard pitch for a right-handed hitter.
I was going to say, as a hitter, what do you do with that?
I don't know.
That's a nice little pickup job at third base by Mosley on a hard chopper off the bat of Wesolowski. And there are 2 gone now here in the home half of the second. Georgia's got Mosley at third, Armistead at short, Kuma at second, Digby at first. That's the Georgia starting infield tonight. With Goodwin in left, Goodnight in center, Kearney in right, with Gordon behind the plate, Backus in the circle, chopper out to short, throw across the diamond in time, and quickly Edwards is retired on just 1 pitch. 1-2-3, Backus retires the state's wiener dog race.
So, watch out, Kentucky Derby.
The Dachshund Derby in Starkville tomorrow afternoon.
I saw that, and this is my first year here, and I'm like, man, that's slightly intriguing.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
Georgia at the plate. A worm burner there off the bat of Goodnight. Right out to Hawkins. The MSU second baseman gloves it, throws the first in time. Goodnight retired quickly. One down here in the Georgia half of inning number 3.
Georgia, this is the second time through the lineup, second time they get to see Aspen Wesley. I'm interested to see how they start to make adjustments.
Hard hit ball. Cook trying to track it down. She gets there in right field, right near the line for out number 2. A long fly ball out off the bat of Chambly. There is at the moment no wind to speak of.
Not a bit. Flag is completely still.
No one on, 2 gone for Kearney. She's 0 for 1. Struck out looking her first time up tonight. "17 home runs on the year, though, for Jada Kearney. Slow roller. Nice job there at second by Hawkins. A 1-2-3, very quick inning against the top of the Georgia order. Been the star of the show through the first 2.5 innings.
Yeah, it has. And both pitchers, I mean, tip your cap to them. Both of them are changing speeds, hitting good locations, and their defense is playing well behind them. That's what you kind of expect to see the last SEC series of the year. Things have finally cleaned up around the pitcher and the defense.
Ground ball, bounce foul, third base side, off the bat of Matalasi Fa'apito. Bulldog senior getting a start tonight, just her 4th start in the batting order this season.
Yeah, we've seen Jessie Blaine really occupy that space for most of the year. Coach Ricketts looking to switch some things up.
Pop up, and that will drift out of play, so Fa'apito will stay alive. The count, though, a ball and 2 strikes. And listen, when you're, as a team, sort of mired in a bit of a slump, because I think State over their past 8 conference games batting as a team below 200, why not do something to try to shake things up with your lineup?
Right. I mean, sometimes you slump. Sometimes you're not seeing the ball well, and sometimes you need that break to sit in the dugout. And I don't think that Coach Ricketts has lost any confidence in Jessie, but give you a second to step back and look at the game and get your rhythm back. And then she has the ability to have a hitter like Fa'apito to step in, and she's got a big bat.
Yeah, Fa'apito, limited action, but solid at bats. 3 out of 11 at the plate. But look at this. Has drawn 7 walks, has just struck out 3 times. So small sample size, but a .579 on base percentage. Puts that one in play, out to second. Kuma scoops it up and flips to first for out number 1.
Lily Back she's really preventing Mississippi State from getting a barrel on the ball. You can hear it, and you can hear the ball coming off the handle just about every time they make contact. So it's just telling me her ball is moving and spinning, and the timing is not there for Mississippi State.
Nothing from State's hitters so far has left the infield. Salyn Hawkins at the plate for Mississippi State, one of those 3 freshman starters who have been starters pretty much the entire year in their true freshman seasons. Hits one off the glove of Mosley at third into left, and State has its first base runner of the ball game as Hawkins gets the bat around and puts it into play. And that should be scored a base hit as State gets a base runner at first.
And she made a really nice adjustment from the first pitch. The 2 pitches she saw were back-to-back curveballs in on her hands. First one she took. The second one, she knew she had to get her barrel out, and she does just that, gets enough of it to get the first base runner for Mississippi State.
38th base hit of the year for Hawkins. Not bad for your 8-hole hitter. And now it brings up the veteran St. Clair. Puts a bunt down Only play is to first, and a good job there by Backus to get the very quick St. Clair out at first as Hawkins goes over to second.
That just tells me how important Mississippi State wants to get that first run across. They already had one out, and then the sacrifice. Great execution by Briley St. Clair to get Salem in second base. But with 2 outs, not usually going to see that, but trying to get something happening. Your top of your lineup coming up, Sierra Sacco now, she knows how to find a gap, and I think that first run just is so important.
Sacco takes strike one. And going back to St. Clair's bunt, St. Clair has enough speed where
Right.
if she puts it down just right, that's not a sacrifice but a bunt single.
Yep. It's probably the perfect person to do that.
Sacco fouls one back, and Backus out in front of State's leadoff hitter, 0-2, trying to get out of the inning here with a runner on in scoring position. And Hawkins is a good runner, and now she'll be running on anything. As soon as the ball leaves the hands of Backus, Hawkins will take off. Sacco's got to protect the plate. Nice block up there job by Gordon behind the plate. One and two the count. Sacco 0 for 1 tonight, but a .351 hitter on the season. Now the count's even up 2-2.
Yeah, you mentioned the speed. It's with Hawkins on second base. Anything in the grass, if it touches the grass, she's going to score, especially as you mentioned, moving on release. Sacco able to even this count back up, but still, it's a tough situation.
Sacco fouls it back to stay alive. .46 hits on the year for Sacco. Second most on the team, behind only Barbary, who right now is standing in the on-deck circle for State. 5 doubles, 3 triples, 1 home run, 18 runs driven in for Sacco this year. Ground ball out to second. Kuma flips to first in time. Backus gets out of the jam to do enough to host. Will Georgia be able to do enough? Most folks think they're already pretty solid as a host. Can they sneak in maybe as a top 8 national seed?
Right. I mean, these 3 games are important. Then you get the opportunity to play in the SEC tournament. I mean, you're going to play some top RPI teams to really boost your resume in just these 2 weekends. And can you believe we're almost to postseason?
No. February feels like it was just 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And here we are. The last couple of broadcasts for us here in Starkville this season. Two balls and a strike to count on Mosley, middle of the order, due up for Georgia. Mosley, Kuma, and Goodwin against Wesley. Nice strike there on the outside corner. 2-2 the count. Yeah, I was going through my calendar, and the fact that we're just a couple of weeks away from the selection show and then figuring out where everyone's going at the end of May. No, I can't believe that we're already at this point.
Almost to mayhem. But I tell you, this whole season across the country has been great softball from February to today. I mean, there's been big upsets, great players stepping up. I mean, you've got Bedlam going on this weekend,
Yeah.
Oklahoma State and Oklahoma. And then you have Texas A&M and Florida fighting it out. And you look here, there's RPI, where the teams in the SEC rank. The new thing that they're going to this year for some selection committee criteria is the KPI.
Hard hit ball out to left, right to Briley St. Clair for out number 1.
Yeah. Going back to RPI and KPI, RPI takes into account strength of schedule, opponent strength of schedule, and wins and losses mainly. KPI is going to take advantage or take into consideration wins on the road, how big of a win it was. Did you beat them 10-0, or was it a one-run game on the road? Did you go against their ace? So it has a lot more criteria, and I think it gives a better look at what the team has done throughout the season, just relying on RPI.
And what's interesting, some of those teams on that screen, which, by the way, those are the top 10 SEC teams. Right. They're all top 25, either in RPI or KPI, to go along with being in the top 10 of the SEC standings. As that ball is a one-hopper out to Edwards. Low throw. Nice dig at first by Kennedy for out number 2. What's interesting, some of those teams, the numbers are essentially the same. Mm-hmm. But then you have a couple of teams, LSU, that's a big difference right there. Georgia, Mississippi State even. Those are not just slight differences in the numbers.
Right, and I think the more educated people get on the KPI, I think we're going to start turning to that a little bit more. Maybe not as much this season, but I really like the fact, home and away wins. It's so hard to win on the road. And if you beat a team 20-0, it should probably count a little bit more than a one-run game. So I like it.
If you run rule somebody, you should probably get a little more credit.
Right.
Don't want to overreact, but give somebody a little more credit as opposed to a one-run win. Is that part of the thinking that goes into that?
I think so, for sure. And just the more you can put into it when you're making these big decisions, because playing at home in regionals and super regionals makes such a difference for that team. Advantage to the host, no doubt.
And you want to make sure, as the committee, that you're giving those host sites to the 16 most deserving teams. I mean, it's impossible to pick the 16 best.
Right.
Because that's so subjective.
Right.
But objectively, we can pretty much figure out who the 16 most deserving teams are. Can we not?
And it's a good tool for that. That's a great way to put it.
That ball's down and inside. Jaden Goodwin at the plate. Full count. Georgia, no one on, 2 gone. Second time through the lineup, and Wesley has seemed to have made more adjustments in the circle than Georgia has made yet at the plate against her. High fly ball, foul territory, calling off. Kennedy is Hawkins. She makes the grab, and that's 3 up, 3 down in the top of the 4th for Georgia. Still looking for our first run.
Even the base hit to Barbary was in on her hands and fisted into the outfield. So she has her stuff tonight, and Mississippi State's going to have to find a way to get some runners on base and then hope for that big hit.
Nadia Barbary leads things off for State in the bottom of the 4th. The number 2 hitter in the lineup tonight. Takes that one high, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. It's Barbary, followed by Kennedy and Cook, then Wesolowski, if anyone can reach. We've only had 4 combined base runners in the ball game tonight, as the pitchers have really taken control, and if the strike zone will be that forgiving, then it could be a great night for the pitchers.
Right. I think there's no doubt that Nadia thought that pitch was off the plate. I might have to agree.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout. Backus retires Barbary, who is now 0 for 2 tonight. She grounded out in the first, now strikes out swinging in the 4th.
And you love that sequence. The back door before this on the outer half of the plate, and then just comes in with a curveball from the left side into a righty. That ball ends up behind Barbary. It's such a tough pitch to hit. Great location and great sequencing by Backus.
So no one on and 1 gone for Kennedy, who struck out swinging her first time up. One of the 3 Ks recorded tonight by Backus, which gives her an even 110 Ks on the season. Misses low and outside, so she's missed on the first 2 pitches to Kennedy. So even with the recent I'm going to call it a miniature slump for Kennedy. Her numbers on the year, she's still hitting well over 330.
Right. I mean, that's how good she's been
Right.
all year long. In her first at bat, she battled against Lily Backus really well, fouled off a bunch of pitches. She got fooled by the changeup in a 3-2 count, but works to a hitter's count here.
Hits it high in the air, deep to left at the wall. It is gone! Home run! Number 16 on the year, a moonshot for Madison Kennedy. Could that be the slump buster that she and State needs? 1-0, MSU on top.
I think Madison Kennedy could just breathe a sigh of relief when she was rounding the bases. She has been trying to fight for that feeling again in the box, that feeling of knowing that ball is gone off the bat, and that was off of a changeup. The pitch that she struck out against in her first at bat this time shows the adjustment, and a moonshot, like you said, clears the fence. Mississippi State with a 1-run game.
And that, I mentioned the 16th on the season for Kennedy as Cook flares one out to Kuma, who grabs it on the edge of the grass behind second base. That was also in SEC games only, Kennedy's 9th homer of the year, a school record.
How about that?
Which is incredible considering this is the place that had Mia Davidson only a couple of seasons ago.
Right. I mean, that's just, she's had a phenomenal year, and I am sure she's been down on herself lately, but it just takes that one swing to get back, to feel good again, and this is the time to do it. This is where you need to be playing your best ball. And Madison Kennedy, she had good at bat, her first at bat, and then came out and made the adjustment. You got to be proud that you worked for that.
No one on, 2 gone for the freshman Ella Wesolowski, who bounces one right to Backus. Good job by Backus. Get that glove up, make the stop, and she gets out of the inning. Madison Kennedy, though, gives State the 1-0 advantage here in the home half. In the top of the 5th inning now with a 1-run deficit for Georgia. Certainly not a spot that they'll be uncomfortable in. They've been in many situations like this in SEC play and have had several come from behind wins on the road already this year in conference.
Yeah, there's no worry in that dugout right now because the amount of runs they can put up in a hurry, the way they can get runners on and have big home runs from anybody from top to bottom of that lineup. So they're just looking to get runners on base and just, let their power do that thing. So I think they still have some outs to work with, but, you never want to be behind 5th inning.
They got to figure out, though, Aspen Wesley, who has kept them off balance all night long. Wesley still, she's just over 60 pitches, and so far has only allowed 2 hits and just 3 base runners all night long.
Very efficient. For the most part, working ahead, hitting spots, very accurate on the corners, changing speeds.
She'll face the bottom 3 in the Georgia order, Gordon, Digby, and Armistead here in this 5th. Change of speeds right there. And a big swing and a miss for strike 2.
And that's an off-speed rise. As a hitter, that's so hard to hit. You see something up in the zone, your whole life you think that's high velo, right? And then then you're out in front of it, ready to smash, and she pulls a string. Beautiful pitch.
The 3-2 is fouled back. Staying alive is Gordon, the sophomore right-hander, 1 for 1. She had that big double for Georgia back in the 2nd, and we all thought that Georgia would cash in.
Right.
In that situation. They had the top of the order coming up if either Digby or Armistead could do something, and instead State gets out of the inning, and Georgia has not threatened since then.
Right, yeah, they had 2nd and 3rd with just 1 out and a strikeout and a ground ball at the first baseman, able to get out of the inning.
And once again, the payoff pitch. And a walk is drawn, a rare one tonight. We haven't seen very many of those, and that'll be a nice leadoff walk drawn by Georgia's number 7 hitter in the lineup.
And if you're Georgia, that's exactly what you want from your leadoff after giving up the lead. down 1-0, coming back right back in the next half inning to get your lead off on anyway. Good at bat by Sarah Gordon to get on base for her second time with a leadoff walk.
And now Georgia will use a pinch runner at first base. Looks like number 27, Hannah Davila, will enter the ball game and run at first base.
Yeah, where Georgia is in their lineup with Digby being in the 8th slot, I would not be surprised to see a sacrifice bunt right here, putting speed on first base.
She shows bunt, puts it down, picked up, thrown across just in time, and able to keep her foot on the bag is Hawkins, who covered first. Advancing to second base is Davila. So there you go. So for Georgia, and listen, not a bad idea.
No.
To call for the review right there. You only get a couple of those each ball game. So Georgia has the tying runner on in scoring position, less than 2 outs. And they will use a pinch hitter in the number 9 spot. Number 11 for Georgia, that's Lindy Ray Davis. A tall left-handed hitter will step in for Georgia. A base hit could tie the game.
Lindy Ray Davis has a ton of power. She's in the lineup quite a bit for the Georgia Bulldogs. So to have this, Lindy Ray Davis to come off your bench, to hit for your 9-hole, to turn over the lineup with her runner in scoring position.
She has over 100 at-bats on the season. So not your typical pinch hitter. 26 hits in those 106 at-bats. 6 home runs, 4 doubles, has driven in 32 runs. Takes one on the inside corner just above the knees. And the count now 2 balls and a strike.
That curveball from Aspen Wesley into a lefty. She is not afraid to go in on the hands of left-handed hitters.
Swing and a miss. As Wesley once again changed speeds. Now the count 2-2. Big moment in the ball game right here with the top of the Georgia lineup at the on-deck circle. Oh, just missed below the knees. Count is now full.
I don't know how Lindy Ray Davis held up on that. That was a great pitch, but great plate discipline. Off speed just below the knees. Didn't. Whew. That's tough.
If it missed, it didn't miss by much.
Right.
Swing, well, it doesn't matter. Swing and a miss. Wesley battles back, gets the strikeout. She continues to do a really good job once Georgia gets runners on base.
Yeah, what both Aspen Wesley and Lily Backus are doing to these hitters is they're making them think. They're making them guess. Is it going to be the curveball? Is it going to be the off speed? What's coming here? And as soon as you can get a hitter to think, you have that advantage. And you can see it on both sides. These pitchers are making the hitters think.
At the bat now for Georgia. Leadoff hitter in the lineup, Dallas Goodnight. Left-handed hitting outfielder. Tonight she's 1 for 2. Flashes bunt, then brings back the bat. Nice block-up job there by the Bulldog catcher. And the count's even at a ball and a strike. Wesolowski doing a good job behind the plate tonight for Mississippi State. There you see Goodnight, a single in the first. And a good 350 batting average. Strike 2 delivered. And now behind in the count, a ball and 2 strikes is Dallas Goodnight. Has 35 hits on the season. swing and a miss. Wesley once again with a runner on in scoring position for the third time tonight.
Tonight, really outstanding job. But her counterpart, Lily Backus, aside from one pitch to Madison Kennedy, Mississippi State's not squaring the ball up.
Just 4 hits combined in the game tonight, 2 for each team. As you said, the difference is the one off the bat of Kennedy left the yard. And there you see Wesley through 5 innings tonight, no runs, 5 Ks, just the 1 walk. She hit a batter, and so far just 2 base hits. And both of those hits came in the first 2 innings. Nothing for Georgia since then. Now the question is, can Mississippi State add to their lead after the 5th inning stretch? They've got Edwards, Fapito, and Hawkins due up. I thought Backus did a good job last inning after giving up the home run to Kennedy. Came back and retired Cook and retired Wesolowski pretty quickly to end the inning. That's a hard hit ball going to sneak through for an opposite field single off the bat of Kylie Edwards, who continues to really swing a hot bat right now for State.
Yeah, she's seeing the ball well. The past couple weeks, she's been the one leading the charge offensively. And once again, another Mississippi State hitter gets jammed, but this time just finds the right spot and gets on base. It's not how hard you hit it. Sometimes it goes in my scorebook as a hit, in everybody's scorebook, and a leadoff runner on base.
It's where you hit it, right?
That's right.
And now Matalasi Fapito steps in, hits one a country mile into the sky, but it will stay in the ballpark. Tagging from first and going to second on the play. And now trying to advance to third and getting there safely. Head first is Kylie Edwards. That was a very productive fly ball out from Fapito. I don't know if I've seen a ball hit that high before.
I was thinking the same thing.
Did the camera even catch it?
Holy
that was crazy.
Cow. It cleared lights by a ton. Wow. If there was any wind tonight, just if somebody would have breathed a little bit harder, that ball would have been gone. But props to the freshman, Edwards, knowing how deep that ball was, and if it didn't leave the park with her speed, she was tagging from first base. You don't see that a lot. She took advantage of it, maybe caught Georgia off guard, threw the ball away. Now she's at third base, 60 feet away from scoring.
So charge Goodwin in left with a throwing error that allows Edwards to now go to third. So a great opportunity here for State. They're going to need the bottom part of their order to get some quality at-bats, beginning right now with Hawkins, who is already tonight 1 for 1 with a single, back in the third.
And Georgia's infield is pulled in tight. Middle's in front of the baseline, corners about a third of the way down the line.
Hawkins hits one right through for a single. That will score the run. Hawkins gets an RBI base hit, her second hit of the ball game, scoring Edwards 2-0 Mississippi State.
And that run right there is a product of Salyn Hawkins getting a base hit, but more so Kylie Edwards base running, being able to tag from first base on a ball to left field. And the reason she's on third base makes the infield come in. So shortstop Ellie Armistead loses a bunch of range. That ball would have usually been a 6-3 putout, but since she's in front of the baseline, trying to prevent the runner from scoring, it's a base hit up the middle.
Changes the complexion of the entire at-bat and maybe the ball game.
Exactly.
Still got a ways to go, but the way the ball game has gone so far tonight, a 2-run lead feels a lot bigger than a 1-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning, as Blaine has now been put into the ball game, and she will bat in the number 9 spot in place of St. Clair.
Yeah, 2-run lead definitely feels better than 1, but I guarantee if you talk to anybody in that dugout, knowing who they're playing, they're going to want quite a few more.
No question. Blaine, swing and a miss. Have not seen Blaine tonight. She has been a starter in almost every game this year for Mississippi State, a transfer from Auburn. Has played some catcher, has played some DP. Down the count 0-2. Oh, a swing and a miss. And quickly, Backus gets a strikeout of Blaine, who cannot get on base, nor can she advance the runner. Now the top of the order is up, but there are two gone.
Yeah. We saw it with Lily Backus after she gave up the home run to Madison Kennedy. This time after the base hit RBI, comes right back to the next hitter and gets an out. She has a short memory, one pitch at a time, great response.
Sierra Sacco back up at the plate for the third time tonight. 0-2 is Sacco. It's very rare that she has an 0-3 night. She has so far popped out and grounded out. That's in there for a strike. The batting average sitting at .348 with 18 runs driven in. There you see the on-base percentage, still an even .500. Runner takes off, throw downs in time. What a great throw from Gordon. So State perhaps runs themselves out of the inning, but they do tack on a run, and they double up, looking though for their first runs of the ball game as they'll face Aspen Wesley, and tattooing a ball right up the middle is Sydney Chambly. First hit for Georgia since inning number 2. And the Dogs from Athens have the tying run at the plate now, no one out.
Wasting no time, first pitch. All Aspen Wesley could do is just get out of the way. That ball was tattooed back up the middle. And this is the part of the lineup for Georgia that is so productive. Chambly, now Jada Kearney, on deck Sarah Mosley. A lot of power, a lot of home runs. If Georgia's going to get back into this ball game, they're looking to do it this inning.
Kearney takes strike one. Kearney 0-2 tonight against Wesley. Struck out looking back in the first. Grounded out to second in the third. But there you see 17 home runs, the most on this Georgia team. She has the capability to give them, or to tie the game up with one swing of the bat right here.
And Wesley's done a nice job with her so far tonight, but you cannot let up. You have got to make sure you're working the corners, nothing over the plate.
That ball misses high and outside, so the count 2 balls and a strike on Jada Kearney. A .348 hitter on the season. Swing and a miss. And Kearney tonight has not looked comfortable against Wesley.
Yeah, not many hitters have.
That's a good point.
To be honest, that curveball that she started off this at bat with is what got Kearney in the first inning, and then the changeup. You know, having to guard against both of those with 2 strikes is a really difficult, tall task for hitters.
Now the count is full. The last thing that Wesley wants to do is to walk someone over into scoring position. 3-2. Nice job there by Kearney to foul it off, and we'll do it again.
And I think a lot of the reason Aspen's been so effective this game is because she's working ahead. And when you're ahead of hitters, that's when you get them thinking even more. But an even count or behind in the count, definitely advantage starts to lean towards the hitters. And Jada Kearney's done a nice job working to a hitter's count and now battling back to a full count.
Chambly running at first. You've got Mosley, a really good power hitter in the on-deck circle for Georgia. The 3-2. Grounded foul again. Spoiling that one is Kearney to stay alive.
And the more pitches a hitter like Jada Kearney see off of Aspen Wesley, the more comfortable she starts to feel.
Trying to get it timed up just right. Swing and a miss. Wesley makes the adjustment and wins that battle. And that could end up being a pivotal moment in the late innings here as she gets the strikeout, her 6th of the ball game.
Yeah, she battled. She worked hard for this one. Goes back to that curveball. Has just enough upspin on it to rise over the bat of Kearney. Her 2nd strikeout on the day.
And it brings up now with 1 on and 1 gone, Sarah Mosley, who, like Kearney before her, is also hitless so far tonight. A strikeout swinging back in the 1st. And then she lined one, a hard hit ball, but right at St. Clair in left her last time up. That ball's downstairs. 2 balls and no strikes on Mosley. A .319 hitter on the year, 2nd on the team in home runs, just 1 home run behind Kearney with 16. High fly ball foul, back and out of play for strike 1.
Yeah, Sarah Mosley is coming off of a tremendous weekend against Florida where she hit 3 home runs in that series against really elite pitching. So she's feeling really good coming into this game. Confidence is there. She's just waiting for the right pitch, and right now in a hitter's count.
Now you got time called. Mosley stepped out just for a moment. Swing and a miss. Boy, some late rise on that one.
There it is.
And now the count evened up at 2-2.
That off-speed rise. You know, I think the time before that pitch was because Aspen Wesley shook off the pitch call, and she went with what she wanted, and it worked out nicely.
Mosley hits one hard, but foul. Will do it again. Count remains even at 2-2. With Chamblee running at first base, so Georgia has the tying run at the plate. In one of their better power hitters, Sarah Mosley, slugging over 600 this season, has driven in 56 runs, the most on the team. High fly ball, but foul again. So Mosley out in front of last 2 offerings from Wesley.
The 3rd time through this Georgia lineup, they're putting together more competitive at-bats, fouling off more pitches, going deeper into counts. Early in this game, Aspen Wesley really efficient, working quick and ahead, but Georgia's making those adjustments and having better at-bats.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts of the 2 best home run hitters on Georgia's team and 2 of the best in the SEC, Kearney and Mosley. And Wesley, again, just an out away from getting out of the inning.
The past 2 pitches that Mosley fouled off were in on her hands, and then Aspen Wesley on that curveball. A lot of break, perfect location. I can't get over how accurate she's been. She's putting the ball where she wants to put it.
And now it's up to Kuma to keep the inning alive for Georgia. Georgia led off the inning with a single up the middle from Chamblee, who remains at first base. Then back-to-back strikeouts of Kearney and Mosley. That ball fouled back for a strike, and the count evens up. 1-1 as that ball rolls down to the corner of left field. Sydney Kuma at the plate is 0 for 2, so the 3, 4, and 5 hitters have just not been able to do anything tonight so far against Wesley. Oh, the ball comes in and hits the left elbow of Kuma. And now Georgia has the tying runs on base.
Trying to go back in on the hands to Kuma. That ball just tails away, and Sydney Kuma was not getting out of the way of that one. She's going to find a way to get on base. And she wears one and passes the bat.
Second hit batter of the ball game, charged to Wesley. And now she'll have to face Goodwin. Goodwin takes one on the inside corner. Strike 1. Jaden Goodwin, the Georgia left fielder, is 0 for 1 tonight, but was hit by a pitch earlier in the ball game. She fouled one out into foul territory, or fouled one out into second base the last time she was up. This time she flies one out to. So now the State hitters have to make the adjustment to a brand new pitcher. I thought Backus overall did a really good job. Just got touched for a run each in the last 2 innings, forcing Georgia now make a change in the circle.
Yeah, Backus did have a great night. Aside for that one pitch to Madison Kennedy that went for the solo shot, and then the other run, Edwards ends up on third base via throwing error on a sacrifice fly. But besides those 2 hits, or even that one home run by Madison Kennedy, Mississippi State was not squaring her up throughout the night.
No, not at all.
Coach Tony Baldwin looking to go here with Shelby Walters, more velocity, down in the zone.
Sacco, who was at the plate when State was thrown out trying to steal second base to end the 5th inning, leading things off here in the 6th. So once again, State's batters about to go through the lineup for the 3rd time tonight against Georgia pitching.
You know, this move may also be, there's 2 more games in this series, and Georgia's down a pitcher, Madison Kerpix, who's thrown a lot of innings for this team. This is the 3rd week she's been out, calling out with illness, is what we've been told.
Sacco hits one little flare. That will be not grabbed, but a great effort in foul territory. Diving was Armistead, and she almost came up with it.
She covered a ton of ground in a very short amount of time. That ball was not in the air very long, and she ended up almost to the foul line fence.
Impressive effort there. But the count 2-2. So Backus could easily be brought back maybe as early as tomorrow. Certainly on Sunday, you would expect.
Absolutely. It's going to be an all-hands-on-deck kind of thing with this pitching staff when you're down an arm that you rely on pretty heavily throughout the season.
So Walters has to face the Bulldog top of the order. Sacco, Barbary, and Kennedy. And then the cleanup hitter, which is still scheduled to be Paige Cook. We'll see if that ends up being the case when we get to that part of the lineup. High chopper, gloved nicely, and thrown across even better by Armistead for the out.
Such a solid shortstop is Ellie Armistead. She's been with this team for a few years, and she just has been just so steadfast. We saw how quick she was on that foul ball, just out of reach, but nice play deep in the hole to get the first out of the inning.
So no one on and one gone as Nadia Barbary steps in. She's 0 for 2 so far tonight. We mentioned earlier in the broadcast, leads the team with 17 doubles on the season. Checks a swing, but takes it for a strike. Looking ahead to the Georgia 7th inning, as they'll be down to their final 3 outs. They have the bottom 3 spots in the order due up. Slow roller out to Armistead, who throws it across in time for out number 2.
Shelby Walters coming into this game to the leadoff hitter, top of the lineup, has done a nice job retiring the first 2 hitters, but now looking to get the final out against Madison Kennedy.
Kennedy had the big home run her last time up to break the 0-0 tie. State's tacked on 1 more run since then. Swing and a miss right there. Nice pitch from Walters for strike 1.
That's a changeup that we haven't seen from Walters yet in the first 2 batters. First pitch to Madison Kennedy. Throws it there in a nice location.
That ball's taken for a strike. Just caught the outside corner. So quickly, Walters out in front, 0-2. Kennedy will stay alive, fouls that one back off the netting behind home plate. Here's her last at bat
pitch down in the zone, and she went down and got it. You see her excitement, and I think she's saying, finally, finally.
The way she was greeted by her teammates and coaches, you can tell they were all incredibly excited for her personally. Yes, to get the lead, but for her personally, because they know it's been a tough couple of last weekends offensively.
Yeah, when Madison Kennedy is at her best, this team is elevated.
Checks the swing as she go around. Nope. That's a good take. Now the count's 2-2. So Kennedy now hitting .339 on the season with a .457 on base percentage and slugging .853. Now the count's full.
She's seeing the ball so well right now. To lay off the changeup pitch before, that pitch just off the outer half. Maybe this past weekend she would have swung at that because there was some pressing, but now I think she's back seeing the ball very well.
And there's a walk. So Walters didn't really give Kennedy anything she could put into play there, and she'll take the 2-out walk. Looks like Paige Cook has been reinserted into the state lineup, and now a pinch runner will be used for Kennedy as number 2, Kat Wallace, will be entered into the ball game to run at first base, a Bulldog senior. So Wallace on at first. So after Walters kind of cruised right through Sacco and Barbary, and long at bat for Wallace, or for Kennedy, and she draws the walk, and now Wallace runs for her as Cook steps up for the third time tonight. 0 for 2 tonight is Cook with a strikeout and a lineout. Cook led the team offensively in several categories a season ago, then had an injury offseason, and has still been an effective weapon for them offensively, but not quite the same in her senior campaign.
And she's been clutch, though. She has come up in some big moments with some huge home runs.
Getting a chance here to play against a school from her home state. Fouls that one back on a really hard swing.
That's something about Paige Cook. She is not going to get cheated in the box. She is always going to put 110% into that swing. And if she runs into one, she runs into one, and it goes a long way. But you never have to worry about her with a excuse me swing. That's if right. She's going for it.
Very few check swings.
Right.
From Paige Cook. That one's downstairs. So Walters having a difficult time here against the last 2 batters in finding the strike zone consistently. But she is still just 1 strike away from getting out of the inning. The payoff pitch. Oh, she got her. Beautifully done inside corner. A strikeout of Cook, who's now 0 for 3.
Will make you pay. You saw those pitches, that strikeout package. Everything's on the corners. She's not leaving anything over the heart of the plate, which is key when you're going against Georgia.
Not to be outdone, Georgia's also gotten a good pitching performance from Backus and Walters. But State's been able to get just a couple of more extra base hits. That's a really nice backhanded stab from the Bulldog third baseman Nadia Barbary for out number 1 as Gordon is retired.
Barbary at third base made that play look a lot easier than it really was. She had to make the decision if she's going to move her feet to get in front of this ball, but instead goes to the backhand so she can get it on the short hop and then makes a nice throw across the diamond. That first out in the top of the 7th inning is so big.
Ball downstairs. At the plate is Jaden Fields. has played a lot of softball at Georgia, but did not get a start tonight. A very important at-bat right here. Takes it off the outside corner for a ball. 2 balls and no strikes. Fields batting just under 300 on the year, 299 the average. In 77 at-bats, has collected 23 hits. Swing and a miss. Boy, she was way out in front. The count's now 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, missed that by a mile. It's a tough ask to come off the bench against an Aspen Wesley, because we saw better at-bats these hitters third time that they've seen her, just coming off the bench and then having to deal with that changeup.
Swing and a miss again. Now the count's even up at 2-2.
I wouldn't be surprised if she goes for a third time, but this time maybe a little bit lower in the zone.
Georgia has Armistead in the on-deck circle. The 2-2 to Fields. High pop-up, foul territory. It'll go into the stands. And I couldn't tell if a fan caught that or not.
The fan ended up with it.
It always worries me when you don't hear a loud noise.
Right.
You hear like a thud.
Yeah,
That always makes me nervous.
Everybody's still smiling.
Okay.
I think we're good there.
2-2, the count remains on Jaden Fields. Just missed off the outside. Oh, it got her. Rung her up. It caught the outside corner. A huge strikeout for out number 2.
Gets the pinch hitter, Jaden Fields, looking on this curveball. Right on the outside corner. You could see Fields' reaction. Thought that one was a little off, but with 2 strikes late in the ball game, you've got to be protecting.
So now Georgia down to their last out, trailing by 2 runs. Number 9 hitter in the lineup, Armistead. First pitch popped up on the infield. Foul territory. The catcher calls for it, and Mississippi in the top of the fifth inning now with a one-run deficit for Georgia. Certainly not a spot that they'll be uncomfortable in. They've been in many situations like this in SEC play and have had several come-from-behind wins on the road already this year in conference.
Yeah, there's no worry in that dugout right now because the amount of runs they can put up in a hurry, the way they can get runners on and have big home runs from anybody from top to bottom of that lineup. So they're just looking to get runners on base and just, let their power do that thing. So I think they still have some outs to work with, but, you never want to be behind fifth inning.
They got to figure out, though, Aspen Wesley, who has kept them off balance all night long. Wesley still, she's just over 60 pitches, and so far has only allowed 2 hits and just 3 base runners all night long.
Very efficient. For the most part, working ahead, hitting spots, very accurate on the corners, changing speeds.
She'll face the bottom 3 in the Georgia order, Gordon, Digby, and Armistead here in this fifth. Change of speeds right there. And a big swing and a miss for strike 2.
And that's an off-speed rise. As a hitter, that's so hard to hit. You see something up in the zone, your whole life you think that's high velo, right? And then then you're out in front of it, ready to smash, and she pulls a string. Beautiful pitch.
The 3-2 is fouled back. Staying alive is Gordon, the sophomore right-hander, 1 for 1. She had that big double for Georgia back in the second, and we all thought that Georgia would cash in.
Right.
In that situation. They had the top of the order coming up if either Digby or Armistead could do something, and instead State gets out of the inning, and Georgia has not threatened since then.
Right, yeah, they had second and third with just 1 out and a strikeout and a ground ball at the first baseman, able to get out of the inning.
And once again, the payoff pitch. And a walk is drawn. A rare one tonight. We haven't seen very many of those, and that'll be a nice leadoff walk drawn by Georgia's number 7 hitter in the lineup.
And if you're Georgia, that's exactly what you want from your leadoff after giving up the lead, down 1-0, coming back right back in the next half inning to get your leadoff on anyway. Good at bat by Sarah Gordon to get on base for her second time with a leadoff walk.
And now Georgia will use a pinch runner at first base. Looks like number 27, Hannah Davila, will enter the ball game and run at first base.
Yeah, where Georgia is in their lineup with Digby being in the 8th slot, I would not be surprised to see a sacrifice bunt right here, putting speed on first base.
She shows bunt, puts it down, picked up, thrown across just in time, and able to keep her foot on the bag is Hawkins, who covered first. Advancing to second base is Davila,